Okay, Eagle Nation, it's the first day of July, and the Cowboys already look like a hot mess. But more importantly, we got great news as it pertains to Sidney Brown's injury. But that's not all. One of the Eagles rookies was listed as the most overlooked player in the 2024 draft, plus a potential trade candidate for a contender, which means the Eagles, especially with how low the NFL ranked our offense. What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast. And today, as always, we got a lot to get into. But before we do that, Eagle Nation, can I ask y'all for a quick favor? Help your boy out. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss the videos. So as we all know, the Dallas Cowboys are down bad. We got players arguing with each other about podcasts, on podcasts. Meanwhile, their number one offensive weapon is talking about holding out a training camp. We'll get more into it later on. But first, we got to talk about our Eagles, although it is always fun to laugh at the Dallas Cowboys, especially in the driest month of football. So let's start this off by talking about what Sidney Brown told Ed Kratz at the Devontae Smith softball game about his injury. He said, and I quote, "I'm back to moving full speed. I'm running about 22 miles per hour again, slowly climbing it up there. I'm still working on lateral movement, but I'll be as close to 100% as I can by the start of the season, and we'll see what happens with that." So it's good to know that Sidney Brown is ahead of schedule when you look around to the average ACL tear. At the end of the day, his health is important. Don't rush back. He's going to miss training camp. He's probably going to miss preseason. If he can get back by the start of the season, cool. But again, Fangio will have a spot for him in this defense, whether it's starting or just another key piece for a Fangio defense. That's my guy, said Isaiah Rodgers, who won the home derby with 12 homers. He took me under his wing, even though I'm older than him. But when I first got to the facility in Philly, he was my workout partner, so that's my guy. He also said this: he's a baller. I saw the pick six against Arizona. Plays like that show he's a great player. In that Arizona INT, it did look like he hit 22 miles per hour at one point. Dodge around going into year two. I think if he can stay healthy, he'll have a nice role in this defense. As for another young player, Word on the Bird had this to say: Bleacher Report lists Johnny Wilson as one of the most overlooked rookies from the 2024 NFL Draft. They're not saying most overlooked rookie on this Eagles team. They're talking about most overlooked throughout the whole draft process. Again, this kid was a monster at Florida State before Keon Coleman got there. It was his team. Johnny Wilson was the number one target on Florida State, and he was putting up numbers. Once Keon Coleman got there, yeah, he became wide receiver too. Maybe that played in his psyche, because the one thing that made Johnny Wilson a later round draft pick were the concentration drops. I'm not going to sugarcoat the concentration drops, but on one side, you had spectacular catches with two defenders draped on him. I'm talking 50-50 balls, back shoulder fades. He was doing it all. But on another note, he'll drop a wide open, easy pass. So Johnny Wilson himself, the Eagles coaching staff, is going to have to get him out of that funk. But as a 6'6", 6'7" guy, I never seen feet like this. And when you look at Bleacher Report calling him the most overlooked rookie of the entire 2024 draft, it just shows that when he was at his best at Florida State, he could have been drafted as early as the second round. But consistency is what he needs to work on, and that should be the Eagles' top priority, getting him right. Again, as it pertains to the Eagles wide receiver room, we know who the top dogs are. And as for wide receiver 3, the door is open for a Johnny Wilson, Anaya Smith, John Ross. But the favorite and the guy who got 1 foot in is most likely Paris Campbell, just based on what the Eagles were showing during OTAs. You never actually know, so stay tuned for training camp for that positional battle. Staying with the offensive side of the ball, NFL.com decided to put out their top 10 offenses in the NFL overall, You gotta see this list. It is ridiculous. Number 1, the Niners. Number 2, the Chiefs. Number 3, the Lions. Number 4, the Rams. Number 5, the Bengals. Number 6, the Dolphins. Number 7, Packers. Number 8, Bills. Number 9, Texans. And number 10, Colts. What? Again, this ain't some hot take platform. This is NFL.com. What are we doing? I low-key would be upset if the Eagles weren't in the top 5, let alone NFL don't got them in the top 10. The Colts? Really? Bills? After losing Diggs, I know they draft a rookie receiver, but really? The Packers? Even the Chiefs, who were carried by their defense time and time again last year, who did draft a rookie receiver, but that's what they're counting on. Heck, the Niners are about to lose Brandon Ayuk. That offense won't be the same. I just can't wait for the season to get here. We need to prove the Jalen Hurts doubters wrong. We need to prove the offensive doubters wrong. And I haven't heard anything negative about the defense, but we're the Eagles. Someone's going to say something negative about our defense, and we just got to prove all these people wrong. Moving on to a possible trade candidate, and again, I'm saying possible trade candidate. Philadelphia Eagles Central tweets, Seahawks wide receiver Tyler Lockett was listed as a potential trade candidate by Bleacher Report. Not saying trade candidate to the Eagles, but trade candidate in general. Some of y'all believe we still could use a wide receiver. Now, my question to you is, would you trade for Tyler Lockett? Mind you, he's 32 years old, but he does have a lot of gas left in the tank. With Seattle under new management, it makes sense to have him as a trade candidate. I don't think it would be expensive. I will say this, he would fit seamlessly in the slot alongside of A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, but he's versatile. If an injury would happen for A.J. or Devontae, Tyler Lockett has the versatility to play outside, inside, so that could help the Philadelphia Eagles. Y'all know my stance on wide receiver. I'm not going to get mad if they bring another one in, but I am perfectly fine with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith as the top 2 guys, Goddard as our receiving tight end, Saquon Barkley catching passes out the backfield with Paris Campbell, John Ross, Anaya Smith, Johnny Wilson, all fighting for the wide receiver 3 spot and backup spots. I am comfortable with the wide receiver department, but again, injuries can happen. I understand you need depth at certain positions, but let me know in the comment section, would you, yes, I'm talking to you, go out there and make the trade? And if you do, what would you want to give up? I also seen this in the article he referenced, off-season potential trade candidates for the Seahawks. Wide receiver Tyler Lockett, like we already said, but they also got the edge rusher Darrell Taylor and defensive tackle Jaron Reed. So just let me know, because I know Howie Roseman is doing his due diligence. Would you possibly make a trade for any of these guys? Let me know that in the comment section as well. Lastly, on the Dallas Cowboys downfall, as we talked about in the beginning of this video, ML Football said Malik Hooker is advising Micah Parsons to focus on the team and not his podcast. Are you caring about the crowd that's watching your podcast, or caring about the success of our team and this Super Bowl we're trying to reach? Ridiculous. Micah Parsons fired back before deleting it. Just wish you would have told me this instead of some podcast. And you got my number, fam. You were my locker mate, so you could have said this any day. And do you realize I shoot the podcast on our off day? Why ain't we talking about everyone's preparation and focus leading up to the game week? I mean, I can point out a lot of things, but I'm just not. It's all good, Micah. Air out the dirty laundry on your pod. It only makes it much more funner in the offseason for the Eagles. As for their number 1 offensive weapon, CeeDee Lamb, rumors, Cowboys wide receiver CeeDee Lamb is expected to hold out of training camp if he doesn't receive a contract extension by the time it begins, per Calvin Watkins. Again, it is so hilarious that AJ has got paid by the Eagles twice since CeeDee Lamb has been in the NFL. Devontae Smith has been paid by the Eagles once, who came into the NFL 1 whole year later than CeeDee Lamb. 2020 draft, CeeDee Lamb. 2021 draft, Devontae Smith. He's paid, and the other one is holding out. So The controversy in Dallas makes me want to sit down on the couch, get my popcorn out, and maybe turn on ESPN just to hear them trash the Cowboys or air out their dirty laundry, I should say. But this is the driest month for football content. We got some good collabs coming up. Stay tuned. Do your boy a favor and hit that like button. It's free. It's easy. It don't cost a thing. Subscribe to the channel, and notification gang is growing. Turn on that notification bell. It's like getting a text message when I upload. Drop the muscle emoji. Y'all still continuing to show Philly strong in the comment section. Love hearing from you. Until next time, you know what time it is. We out.